Dear friends, it's our grammar class again. Today we'll talk about cleft sentence. The word cleft means to divide or to break up. First, I'm going to explain the principle concerning cleft sentence, and then I'll show you some examples. Well, actually, I have a very good cleft sentence example. It's an idea from the present political crisis facing Hong Kong. First of all, we know a sentence is usually made up of more than one unit of ideas. A unit is just like a placeholder, and then you put different ideas into different placeholders to form a sentence. If you have different ideas in a sentence, inevitably one idea will be more important than another one. Let's say you want to draw attention to a certain idea over the others. The way to do it is to use a cleft sentence structure. The cleft structure begins with introductory it, and you put whatever you want to emphasize with the introductory it, whether it is a noun, a personal pronoun, a prepositional phrase, even an explanatory clause beginning with the connective because. They can all be placed in the front with introductory it, and then followed by a relative pronoun, a relative clause. Now, did I just say I got a very good example to illustrate this cleft sentence structure? You know, in the past few months, there have been a lot of protests in Hong Kong against the government. People here want more freedom, more democracy. Something strange happened. There were people posing as protesters. They were all dressed in black, going into subway stations, locked down subway stations, and then broke everything, even set fire. People can't help wondering, how will protesters get into subway stations since government order have been given to close all the stations? People begin to link the dots together. It was the police themselves who did that. That hasn't been proved conclusively, but the prime suspects are government people. So, I'm now using this situation. Alright, people ask this question. Who did extensive damage in subway stations? The answer? Could it be the protesters? Could it be the police? To answer this question, you can use a simple structure, subject, verb, object. If you believe it's the protesters, then you can say protesters vandalized subway cars. The problem with this subject, verb, object structure is, it's just three pieces of information together, whereas there's a clear need to put the spotlight on the doer of the action, the vandal, right? So this is why we better use a cleft sentence structure. And the way to write is, it's the protesters who vandalized subway stations, or it's the police who vandalized subway stations. But the situation really is more serious than vandalism. So that's why I use another phrase, go on a rampage. And as if it were not enough, it were not serious enough, I add an adjective, destructive, go on a destructive rampage, to describe the extensive carnage. Alright? Now, this is not all. In case you want to shift the spotlight on something else, like where the destruction occurred, you can replace the people information with the place information. You can do it like this. It's at subway stations that protesters went on a destructive rampage. Or it's at subway stations where policemen in the guise of protesters went on a destructive rampage. Similarly, you can talk about the time when it happened. For example, you can say it's over the weekend that protesters went on a destructive rampage in subway stations, or it's over the weekend that policemen in the guise of protesters went on a destructive rampage in MTR stations.